Welcome back, everybody, and it is time to continue with our campaign to dominate the world with the German Empire here on Hearts of Iron 4, the Great War mod. If you did not see the previous episodes, there is a link in the description below that will take you all the way back to episode 1. The situation is this. It is the end of June 1920. We have taken care of the Brits. We have pretty much rid ourselves of the Italians, though there are pockets of resistance that we're dealing with, including having to finish off taking Sicily down here, and I'm also sending an army back up to deal with the invasion up here in the northern part of the country. We're also in the process of pushing through Spain, so we can eventually get down here and support our troops that have landed at Gibraltar and are fighting hard to hold that territory. Once we deal with all of that, we will see where things stand with the war and what other territories we need to conquer in order to finish this thing off, because I'd really like to get to at least some peace for a little while and see what happens. Into August of 1920, and we've actually connected with our troops in Gibraltar, and now we're making a breakout from two different sides, and it seems like only a matter of time before Spain's going to be knocked out of this war. We've got to look at research and see what else we might do. We've got some things in the engineering department that we can do pretty quickly here. So I think Spain is probably going to fall within a matter of months. We are finally making a breakthrough here. And we'll start landing in Messina and get ourselves into Sicily very soon. We've still got issues with sabotage that we're going to have to deal with. Once these couple of pockets of resistance are fleshed out, I can start working on occupation forces. I may need to think about puppeting some of these states before long, just because it's just going to become increasingly difficult to handle this much territory. And I really don't need it. I don't need all of that territory. I don't need all the resources that are there. Well, it looks like we've got 6 American divisions down here fighting in Spain. Let's look at the war itself. It's at 57%. We've got a significant advantage in manpower. Spain's actually the major power that's left in the world, them and Japan on the enemy side. So once Spain's out, Japan's really it. And they've got a long way to go to be able to get their troops over to where they can make a difference. So I'm looking at the foreign territories that I occupy, and you can see what a long list it is. We're actually going to go to the gentlest occupation policy in all of these territories, because by doing so, it hurts their resistance. It does also hurt local resources, manpower, and factories, but I really don't need those all that much right now. So I'd rather not have the constant sabotage and things that are happening. And I can't puppet any of those nations because we haven't actually won the war yet. Even though those nations have capitulated, it doesn't mean that I can do anything. So that's kind of where we're at the moment. So you can see I've poured divisions down into this area. So now we need to start kind of figuring out a policy for winning this war. I think I'm going to deal with this area first, and then we'll go west from there. You can see there's very little Spanish resistance left at this point, so I just sent one army to kind of deal with this whole area. Once I've taken all this territory, then I can build a more traditional front line and we can push ahead. I think Spain's going to probably fall within a month or two. Not sure. Oh, we do have a division encircled there. I'm not going to take much to take him out. In fact, it may be by the end of September at this rate. Okay, we dealt with the eastern side of things. Now we're going to go ahead and finish off everybody on the west. And I'm just issuing manual orders. It's just easier than trying to reissue a moving forward order. Spain is done. I don't think they have really any ability to resist whatsoever at this point. We just got to deal with a couple of their let's take that territory there. It's really just a matter of how fast can I march on their remaining victory points. These American divisions are going to be slaughtered as well. And you know, once everything settles down and we've had a chance to kind of regroup and rebuild my army, Maybe we'll send the Zimmerman telegram. I don't know what point there is to that now, but we got to take Madrid. That might be enough to finish this off. But maybe we can just anger the Americans a little bit. We're not doing any unrestricted submarine warfare, so there's not a whole lot else they can be mad at me about. Those were kind of the main beefs for the Americans, is the unrestricted submarine warfare, which killed a lot of civilians. There's Spain, they're out. Oh wow, we captured 121,000 guns. That's awesome. And then, of course, sending the Zimmerman telegram, which was enticing Mexico to join on the side of the Central Powers against the United States. So the U.S. had to deal with that rather than being able to fight over here in Europe. So let's see where that puts the war. That puts us at 65%. Obviously, Japan now the lone kind of major power that remains. Oh, Portugal is in this? Oh, okay. Well, then I guess we come say hi to Portugal. I don't know why I had forgotten that Portugal was in the war. Might as well finish off the entire Iberian Peninsula. That wasn't much of a fight at all. Took about a week to take out Portugal. What are we missing here? I'm taking all their territory. Interesting. Now they're not even showing up. Okay, well, there's that. So now we've got pretty much all the territory one could ask for. You can see that almost all of Europe at this point is under the Central Powers. So I guess now we can come down here and help the Ottomans. That's really about all I've got left to do. That or invade Ireland. Oh, take a look at this. The Battle of the Western Mediterranean Sea. We sank 12 British battleships, 10 of their light cruisers, and 11 destroyers. Let's see, the British lost the HMS Dreadnought, which was sunk by the Lothringen, the Bellerophon, the Superb, the Temeraire, Collingwood, the St. Vincent, the Vanguard, the Ocean, the Vengeance, the Formidable, the Irresistible, and the Implacable. Wow, devastating loss for the British. That should pretty well do it for the British Navy. So what I've done now is I've taken what was the Western Front and we've turned them into the occupation force. There's 102 divisions, and they're responsible for all of the area that you see highlighted in green now. And then we will take the other armies that we've got available to us, including these ones for Operation Sea Lion, and we're going to start transferring them over here to start fighting and help the Ottoman Empire on some of their fronts. That's really the only place we have to fight at the moment. Alright, so now we've got the Southeast Expedition Force, 124 divisions that we're going to line up to take Greece. As soon as we knock Greece out, we will move them further to the other side of the Mediterranean, and I guess it looks like we'll probably invade Egypt. Let's see how we're doing. It looks like we've got enough divisions in place to make this happen. Maybe. We're not at war with Greece? I guess we're not. So even though there's... Oh, that's why. I saw the fighting going on here. I thought Greece was a part of it. It's actually just this little territory right here. So we're going to deal with that. And then we'll clean up over here. We've got our Adriatic Theater forces over here and staged and ready to put down this little invasion that's happening. I guess we're going to have to get our Navy over here to blockade this area so this doesn't keep happening. It's almost 1921. I've got my occupation force hopefully putting down resistance everywhere possible. Our divisions are mounting up and ready to launch the invasion of Egypt. Don't imagine that will take a whole long time. It's very rapidly going to turn the tide here against these few divisions from... We've got, looks like 11 Egyptian divisions, some from India, and then UK has the bulk of the ones that are left. I have a feeling in order to finish this war it probably means invading British Raj itself and taking some of that territory. That will probably be enough to finally turn the tide and get this thing to a place where it ends. Right now it's at 65%. He's still got 2 million men, which is about half of what I have. Looks like supplies are going to be a major factor down here. Let's see if we can get some of these divisions to start moving. They're starting to recoup their organization a little bit. I think once we take Cairo, that'll make a big difference. Alright, looking over here at Sicily. I've rerouted some of my divisions. I'm going to land over in Palermo. If I'm still having trouble breaking through here, maybe by landing in Palermo we can open up a second front, hit them from the rear, and that'll be enough to finish this thing off. Because it's just such a narrow area with so many divisions to try and attack and finish him off. Egypt, things are not going real great so far, and I think most of that has to do with the lack of supply. It's just really, really hard to get supply through there. You can see the 18% attrition. You can see how low my organization is. Supply status is only at about 1/3, so that's why that's going so rough there right now. Oh yeah, I forgot that I was in the process of building up the authoritarian party over in the United States. We got them to 31% before I ran out of political power to continue that. So we're going to have to cancel that for a little while, at least until we can build some political party back up, and then maybe we will continue that further. But 31% is pretty good. It's probably going to start dropping. I'm just watching to see. It looks like it's going to hold still. So good. At some point we'll be able to continue that. Another major naval battle. This one did not go particularly well for me. You could see I didn't have a large number of capital ships there. He had 24 battleships. How on earth does the British Navy still have this many ships available to it? I've sunk so many of them. But I lost 8 battleships, mostly pre-dreadnoughts. So not a huge deal, not my more advanced ships. But eventually we'll send a better Navy up there and we'll go deal with them. But right now my Navy's got to deal with preparing for the invasion of Palermo, which should be going here in another month or so. Alright, we're just about ready to kick this naval invasion off. We've got 2 days to go. And that's good because things are really bogged down trying to attack Messina. Alright, let's do this. They sent a Spanish division over here to contest it. I guess they must have seen what was coming. Ottomans are sending 6 divisions to help out. Okay. Now, of course, this means that now I can send additional divisions this way. So let's go ahead and send... Oh, geez, that's not ideal. We got to take Palermo back. I'm going to build up this force, start landing troops on this side with the Navy, not just the 10 divisions that are already here. But first, we got to take Palermo back. That was kind of a mistake. No, they don't want to go through that way. Alright, here we go. So now we're getting our troops landed the way we want them to. That should spell the end of things in Sicily at last. I've also rerouted some of my divisions from this futile attempt to fight in Egypt. And I sent them over here to fight in Oman. You can see the result. Looks like we just finished that off. I was hoping maybe that would relieve some of the supply pressure down here, but it doesn't appear that it is. So we may have to pull most of our divisions out of here. See where things stand in Sicily now. That should do it. Messina's going to fall sooner rather than later. Like about another month. Alright, new plan. We're going to move this entire force that was in Egypt. We're going to rename them the British Raj Force. We're going to take them over here, and we are planning a naval invasion that will take this territory. I hope supplies do not become an issue. This is where their naval base is. If we can take that right away and then pour troops in, hopefully they can quickly take Delhi, and we'll see what happens. All right, Sicily has fallen. Now we look elsewhere. Maybe we can get over here and take Corsica, Sardinia, just little territories here and there. I'm trying to figure out how to get a navy over here to be able to get the naval supremacy that I need to be able to launch this naval attack, because right now I have no way to be able to do that. And until I can, my only other option is to attack through Persia, and I really would rather avoid that if possible. So my U-boats and the Kaiser Wilhelm the Great has helped out with this. We sank 4 more British battleships, the Howe, the Majestic, the Resolution, and the Repulse. I think that's the naval battle I just looked at there. There we go. I guess what we need to do is actually take Egypt, at least take this territory here, so we can open up the Suez Canal to get my navy from the Mediterranean over here. So we're kind of stuck. So I'm sending one army back, and I'm hoping just one army will be enough to keep the supply issue from being too great. And it looks like now we're going to have to come over here and fight in Yemen. So a lot of these little places that we've just got to be able to deal with before we can go after British Raj. Well, just as I was finally sending an army up here to help out in Egypt, the Austro-Hungarians just poured a massive force down there. So there's no way that all the supply is going to be able to handle all of that. But it does look like we may be making some progress despite all of that. We've basically got what looks like a mixed Egyptian and Spanish force defending, with a little more balanced force on this side. Egypt, British Raj, South Africa, Spain, Free France, United Kingdom. Kind of a hodgepodge of folks, but man, if we can just break through here, take the Suez Canal, I can get my navy down here, and then we can support these 100 divisions going into British Raj, and maybe, just maybe, put an end to this war that has now been going on for, what, over a decade. We're going to go ahead and wrap up this episode here in just a minute, but I thought what might be kind of fun is to take a look at my main naval force, as I'm going to prepare them for an invasion of Africa, so we can maybe come in and take Egypt from the other side. Just looking at some of my ships. This one battleship right here has sunk 15 ships and assisted on 18 more. You can see just the huge amount of ships they've been involved in sinking. It's just crazy that the enemy even has any ships left to be taking me on. But let's take a look at... So that's a Dreadnought 2. That's one of my high-end ships. Here we've got the Kaiser Wilhelm II, a pre-Dreadnought. They've sunk 1. Here we've got the Hindenburg has sunk 19 ships just on its own. Look at the massive amount of British ships that I've taken out. Italian ships. So my Navy's done pretty well. I'm pretty proud of that. I've spent a lot of time early on building up the Navy. I'm right now actually doing a lot of research into upgrading my ships, because my ships, even though I had pretty strong ships, are behind in terms of technology. So we're starting to get them caught up in technology so we can get some better ships out there for eventual fights against the United States and the like. But let me know your thoughts. I think the next step is we're gonna send an invasion force over here to land somewhere either in Sicily. I mean, not Sicily. Either in Libya or in Egypt, so we can hit Cairo from the other side, free up the Suez Canal, so then we can get my Navy over here to help with the invasion of British Raj landing over here near Pakistan. So use the comment section below, let me know your thoughts, and we'll be back in another week or so with the next episode. Thanks for watching.